Hey everyone, I'm Erin. I'm a self love and divorce recovery coach. I'm also the owner of the Joy Tribe Co. I'm going to be joining Pulse Radio online on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be talking all things divorce, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll also share my tips on how I found myself and got ready to date again. So hopefully you guys can tune in to Pulse Radio online at 8 p.m. Eastern, Ottawa's number one hit music station.
So it's another Wednesday, and I want to say good night to you. This is Pulse Radio Online, and we are live with Erin. Erin, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing?
Oops. Oh, I guess I'm having a day, aren't I?
How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well.
Good to hear. That's good to hear. You know how we do it every Wednesday. I want you to introduce yourself to the people.
So I am Erin. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of an issue with my audio, so I apologize. But I am Erin, and I am a self-love and divorce recovery coach, and I empower women and men to become the heroines or heroes of their own epic love story.
Awesome. Awesome.
So, yeah, today we are going to be talking about letting go and letting go of toxic relationships.
Hmm.
Gee, have you ever been in a toxic relationship?
Yes, I have. Not a violent toxic relationship, but yes, yes.
Okay. So did you have a hard time letting go?
Well, some of them, couple of them, but not. But after a while, everything is hard. It's always hard, but you just have to find a balance, a way how to do it, and be diplomatic about it, and
Yes.
let it move forward. That's what I personally think.
And I agree. So here's some little indicators of, you know, of when to let go of a relationship. So you know the relationship is bad, but you continue to still stay. You know that you can do better, but you still stay. You're lacking all of the important needs that you need in a relationship, such as connection, security, intimacy, but you still stay. You felt more unhappy than you've been happy. You're staying because it feels comfortable, and you've sacrificed so much of yourself that you're just tired, and you've sacrificed so much just to make it work. And lastly, you stay, but you know it just doesn't feel right. So here's the thing: good relationships ebb and flow. No relationship is ever going to be 100% amazing, let's face it. But good relationships are able to embrace change and grow together during those changes. A toxic relationship is a very one sided relationship where usually one person holds all the power and the other person is feels very trapped and has to be a certain way with this person, and they can't really be themselves. And so going through, if maybe you resonated with some of those reasons of why you should let go of a relationship, just know that letting go is a hard process, and it's not going to happen overnight, because you really are letting go of this belief of a person who you thought that they were going to be in a relationship that you thought was going to happen when you first got into this relationship, and it did not turn out the way you wanted. And so we hold on to these relationships and these people because we've developed just this habit, sorry, of having them in our lives. We're just so used to it. Like it's just how it is. Like it's just the relationship that you've always been in. So stemming away from that is really, really hard, because you feel like well, I mean, this is as good as I'm going to get. And I really don't want to leave this because maybe I might not find anyone else. And I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be single at like 40 plus and having to date again. And all of these fears bubble up and actually stop you and prevent you from leaving a relationship that is actually also preventing you from finding a partner that brings you happiness and brings you more joy in your life. So the longer you hold on to this relationship, this like toxic relationship that doesn't make you happy, they treat you like crap, the longer you're going to have to wait till you find your person. So what if you're in this toxic relationship, there are some things that you can do in order to assess going forward. So what you need to do is, instead of focusing on the past of like, oh well, things went so well last year when we went away and it was great, or you're hoping for a better future and that they'll change, none of these focuses are going to make your relationship better. They're only going to make it worse, because it's really just putting in this idea that may or may not ever happen. And most likely they're not going to change. So you're going to be stuck waiting for this person to change. So what you need to do is to be in the moment. So you basically assess your feelings in that moment without, you know, focusing on the past, focusing on the future. You're looking at your relationship very objectively. And so in this relationship, you may also be avoiding your pain and your emotions by doing unhealthy habits, such as you drink a lot, or maybe you eat because you feel really bad, or whatever unhealthy habits that you may have going on. You're using this to fill a void.
Yeah.
And I know this was something that I dealt with when I was going through my relationship, is that I completely pushed my feelings down by just, going out with my friends and going to clubs and drinking and, but not really focusing on the fact that my relationship at that moment was really shit. And I just was like, I don't really care. I want to do something else. So really being able to sit in the discomfort and just allow it to be, and allow it to tell you what it needs to tell you. Because usually your body, like I've said before, your intuition is very strong when you allow yourself to listen to it. So being able to sit in the discomfort, sit in those feelings that you don't want to feel, and allow them to talk to you. And when you're doing this, you're fully experiencing your relationship as a whole, and you're being honest with yourself about your feelings. And what I do suggest is that you get a journal and you start writing down how you feel and documenting it. So that way you list out all the things that, how you feel about certain situations with your partner, so that you can actually see it on paper of how many times you feel like shit and how many times you feel like you're unworthy of any person. They make you feel worthless and alone and just awful. And look at those as facts. You look at those feelings without any emotional attachment, and you look at your relationship as a whole without any emotional attachment, because then you're going to start looking at your own relationship objectively and actually seeing, you know what? Maybe this relationship isn't all as that is cracked up to be. Maybe it's not the greatest thing I thought it was. And really also writing down, as I said, how your body is feeling. Do you feel aches and pains? Do you feel tension in your stomach? Because that's usually where I feel my most tension, is at the top of just under my ribs, and it feels like a very tight, you're squeezing some sort of wet towel, like it's uncomfortable. And just being able to notice when you feel discomfort, because this could all be related to the stress and anxiety you've been feeling throughout your entire relationship. And the next thing is throwing away those stories that you're telling yourself, and stop thinking that you can't do any better, and start realizing that you deserve better. Everyone deserves a healthy relationship. And change the meaning that you have associated with your relationship, because you may, if you've been with this person for many years, you've probably ingrained your identity within that relationship. And separate yourself and say, call it for what it is, what the relationship is, and don't associate, negativity with a breakup, because it actually could, a breakup could be opening you up to new things. And this, unfortunately, if you break up, you'll be left with uncertainty. But be okay with that, because nothing in life is certain. And to be quite honest, going through each of these relationships, you never know what's going to happen with them, and who's going to end up being your person. But all of these relationships are actually helping you learn more about yourself and learn about what you do and don't like. And I know that uncertainty, especially for me in relationships, it gives me so much anxiety. But just knowing that I have to go through these things and just let go and allow myself to, embrace whatever experience that is, letting go of a relationship, getting into a new one, just allowing for those things to happen without having any attachment to it, really, really helps you be able to embrace that experience. And you have to let go of this fantasy of what you think a relationship should be like, this idea, that this person is going to, solidify all your hopes and dreams, and they're going to be your prince or princess charming and all of this stuff. Just get rid of that and really just start looking at the relationship as it is. And if you're just starting out, look at it as they're a real person, and not everyone is going to match with you.
Mhm.
Not everyone is going to be a fit, and only that one person can be. So you have to go through all these other people in order to get to that person. And if this person is treating you badly that you're in a relationship with, you need to stop making excuses for their behavior. If you find yourself, excusing them if they're, calling you names in front of your friends and family, or being inconsiderate, just all of the things that make you feel bad, don't discount that stuff. Start looking at it more with a magnifying glass. And again, looking at how you feel, and look at how you want to feel. And is this really conducive of what you want to feel? And if you're in a relationship and you are sitting in indecision and you're not really sure which way to go, that's still a decision.
Mhm.
So you have decided to be stuck. You have decided to sit in this relationship still and feel sorry for yourself. But until you take that action to really decide, okay, is this relationship worth fighting for? Do we have stuff to work on, but are we both willing to do the work? Okay, then let's get at this. But if this is a relationship where, let's say, one of you is doing all the legwork, you're tired, you're frustrated, you are not happy anymore, I would consider letting go of that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's really about, leaving a relationship takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage. But in the end, you have to look out for you, because if you don't look out for you, no one else is going to do that. So if you are in a relationship that you want to get out of, whether or not it is abusive or really toxic, start making a deadline for yourself so you have a goal in mind of when you want to make a decision, because it will help you fuel, your drive in order to, you know, get the facts straight for yourself and in your relationship. And then when you get to that deadline, you can be like, okay, I have to make a decision today. And today it's going to be whatever you decide. So that way you can't make excuses for yourself because you've now made a date of when you're going to make a decision. And if you're in a situation where it is abusive, make sure that you have friends to talk to. Make sure you have, people you can connect with so that you can make a plan, so that you can find a way to get out of that situation unscathed. And if you're still rattling around with whether or not to leave this situation, what would you tell your friend? What would you tell your friend to stay in a relationship where they were being verbally abused or physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is, even if it was toxic, where they were just like, treated them poorly? Would you tell your friend to stay there? You answer that question. Would you, G? Yeah.
Definitely not.
So
You have to find a way to help them in a way.
yeah, like I think that question really puts things into perspective for people when they're in a situation like that. Like, treat yourself as your best friend. You're no different. So why is the situation different?
Mhm.
And also realize that despite whether you're leaving, a relationship that is, just okay, or it's abusive, or whatever relationship you're leaving, you have to know that you're going to feel guilt, you're going to feel grief, you're going to feel fear.
Yeah.
All of these things are normal. It is normal to go through these when you're letting go of something that was such a big part of your life, whether that was a year or 10 years, because it's a part of you.
It's a part of you that, as a people, as you would say, it's a part of you that is hard to let go because, this is something that you see daily for years, probably, and
Yeah.
like comfortability, as you mentioned earlier. But
Yes, because it's a habit. Like, you go to bed and you wake up with this person, you have meals with this person, you sit and watch Netflix. Like, you become so comfortable with this person. It's like, okay, well, what's life going to be like without them? It's going to be terrible in that mind frame. Yeah.
knowing already is already terrible where you are right now. So which is better off when you do. What do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
You know, okay, it's terrible here. It'll be terrible if I leave as well. So know what? So that's when you became that lose that balance and how you get trapped in. So in a situation,
Yeah.
how would you explain that then to someone if they came to you with a scenario like that and say, you know what, I'm stuck between those two places? What advice would you give to that?
I would just say, would you rather be in a short amount of pain or a longer amount of pain? Because the longer you stay in that relationship, the longer and the harder it's going to be to get out. And you are wasting your own mental health, your happiness on something that doesn't deserve your energy. So wouldn't you rather start right away on choosing yourself and being brave enough to choose yourself and a life that you want, and with a person that treats you right and takes care of you and supports you, instead of someone who, really just thinks, well, you're just someone who cooks and cleans for me. Yeah, we have sex every now and then, but like, meh, meh, like, I don't really care. So choice is yours, really.
You have to make a decision, man. Because the thing is, with this whole thing, is that a lot of people got to understand when it's over, you got to let it go. It will be hard, as you said, but remember last week, or was it, or 2 weeks ago, you said, but it's worse, it's better than just settling. because
Yes.
when you settle, you're just settling. There's no movementation. There's nothing. You're just stagnant, one place. So that's where
Yeah.
this fall back into that as well too.
And it's easy for me to say, all of this because I've gone through it and I know what, yeah, I know what the feelings are. But for someone who is in a situation, who hasn't gone through heartbreak like that before, who has invested so much of their life in their identity, and, losing that is horrific. It's traumatic, and I completely get it.
Mhm.
But I think it comes to the point where you have to look at your life and be like, is my life right now worth going through this? Is really, I'm losing minutes and hours of my life in this situation when I could be maybe not even in a relationship. Maybe it's doing something for myself, like going back to school.
Just enjoying life, really. You don't have to, you just the time that you're wasting there moping and sulking and blaming the whole world or blaming yourself or feeling down and guilty. At least those times to lift yourself up. I believe in you take a shower from head to toe. You know,
Oh yeah.
just stay there as long as you want. And then you come out and dress nice,
You're new.
dress
You're clean.
yeah, and start fresh from there. And yes, it will still be the back of your head and the top of your head, the side of your head, whatever. But eventually, when you keep on that progress, it works out. Eventually, it's just like it goes, and then it becomes a part of your history, I should say.
Yeah. And your history is such a beautiful thing. Like, I feel such privilege to have a history, to have a story, to have experiences that have really shaped me, that have really, I went through hell and back, but I still sit here and, willing to move forward and excited for the next days that I have, and excited for my future and excited for, whatever comes my way. I think it's really a privilege to have a history. And I know I understand that there's a lot of people going through hard times right now, but just know that you're not alone. You have people behind you. You have, whether or not you have family or friends, like reach out to me, reach out to, Facebook groups, support groups. Um, you know, you can get past this despite how terrible it is. You can get past it.
I know it will happen. As I said, it takes time, but you're right. You will get past it, and it's better than just settling. Yeah,
I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than to settle in a relationship that did not excite me or treat me well.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So, we're going to talk to you a little bit about. I want to talk to you about Harmony House, a little bit about Harmony House, and I heard that you actually have a role in that in terms of whatever role you play in that, along with some other colleagues of yours, Amanda, as well, and also Sandria Blanche. Tell me a little bit about your role there for Harmony House.
Well, I was, I believe, going to be a speaker. In terms, this is all new information for me, so I apologize. But I believe I will be speaking with them at the event. I think I was supposed to speak at a previous event, but then it was canceled because of uh, I
In the
forget what it was.
middle of COVID or something like that, and
Yeah. Sorry, I just had a mind blank of like, there's been a couple of events that I've been involved in. But yes, so I will be speaking at this event and talking about how you can, conquer your life and, live life to your truest self and your authentic self. So,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely right. And when you say your truest self, have you reached that potentially? And if you tell yourself, I found my true self, that who I am and what I want to be. Well, you know what you want to be, but have you found yourself?
I am very close, but like I'm not there yet. I think everyone is constantly on a journey, constantly working on yourself. I think you're redefining yourself every time you wake up. And that's the beauty of life, is that you can redesign and redirect your life at any point. It's all up to you.
Hmm.
So my identity changes. I mean, for the most part, I keep my soul is the same, but my identity changes every day.
Yeah. And with your identity, do you have to think you have to find yourself trying to keep up with the identity, or were you were like, because sometimes you find yourself drifting in like a dreamland, and then you got to
Yeah.
take and say, okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it this way. That was the old me. Let me try. I'm going to do it this way. Have you ever caught yourself and in the middle of something and had to stop yourself?
Yeah, I have, and it hasn't been easy for me to do that because I am very much someone who is a people pleaser and a rule follower. So I like to do things according to plan. But I mean, being able to tap into my intuition and knowing when something it doesn't align with, who I am or what I want to portray, I really keep that in mind, and I make sure that things that I'm doing, I'm really passionate about. I stand behind. Um, but yeah, it's really about listening to yourself and knowing what feels right for you and aligns with you.
And I agree with what you just said. It's all about aligning yourself, your thoughts with your actions, and go from there. And the thing is about it, as you mentioned earlier and a few weeks ago as well, you mentioned in when people get involved in relationships, they always, when it's coming over the ending, they always think about the negative things about the relationship. One is there was so much good things in the beginning with that made that relationship so special in the first place. Right. So yeah, I do pay attention, Aaron.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're look at you. I was like, I even forgot I said that.
I do pay attention,
You
Aaron.
took notes.
Yeah. So my question to you is, in a situation like that, say like you said you've been in situations like this, how would you handle a situation knowing for a fact that the situation isn't the relationship isn't for you, but you're still in that relationship?
So I think it would have to, it depends again on the situation, but let's say if it's a new relationship, I think I would need to figure out the facts first. Like, am I just having, relationship anxiety and worried about, you know, like where this is going, or, silly things like that. But if you go on, and it's really about fact finding, you're looking for the facts that, who is this person, what are they like, what are their values, and you go through the relationship fact finding on this person. And so if I had enough facts to say this person doesn't treat me well, I don't feel like this person excites me or inspires me in any way, we our values don't align, then yeah, it's a bigger conversation for myself, is is this relationship actually what I want, or do I want something else?
Mhm.
And then I would then, you know, move forward and let go of that relationship.
Well, yeah, that's true. But as you said, it's easier said than done. And
Yep.
as we always tell them, in breakups, both people are going to get hurt, regardless if they think that one person is not. Both people do get.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing to do is to end the relationship.
Yep.
It's a hard.
Yeah.
If you think it's the best thing to do. You always find different ways to not to end it, but then but it is the hardest thing. One of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, even if it's amicable, even if that you both know that it's not going to work, and but you both still love each other, but you both still have to go through it, like, it's still hard. It doesn't make it any less hard than someone going through a really tumultuous divorce, that is, you know, very lengthy with arguments and all the things. It doesn't matter what type of breakup, it doesn't matter what type of divorce, it doesn't matter, losing someone in your life, whether or like someone passes away, like it's a loss of a person. It's a loss of that piece of yourself that you and that life that you had with them
Yeah.
that you're losing.
Yeah.
And you have to mourn it, and you both have to do it. And it's not a one-sided thing ever.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And you know what, Aaron, I'm glad that we actually got a chance to get upon this topic. Definitely. So if we want, well, no, I know how to reach you, but if someone wants to reach out to you, check out your website, tell us how they can do that.
Yeah, you can email me directly. So it's info@thejoytribeco.ca. Then my website is www.thejoytribeco.ca, and Facebook and Instagram is The Joy Tribe Co.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Aaron, I want to thank you very much again for doing this Wednesday, and we will do this next week, Wednesday. Same time, same place, same station. And you do have a fantastic night and enjoy the rest of your week. You have any plans for the weekend? I mean, I hear it's supposed to be pretty nice this weekend. Have any plans for the weekend?
Oh, is it? I don't even know what it's supposed to be like. I think I'm going to be probably.
The house. We need to get. We need to get with the house. Stop being a vampire.
I know I need sun. So I probably will go for a big walk, get out in nature, do something in nature. That's what I'll do. Yeah.
Cat was telling you there for a moment. It's like, get out, get out.
My cat?
Meowing like for the past like 30.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I know.
Life, right?
I was really. I mean, he's telling you to get out, get out.
Yeah. Get out, Aaron. Don't be a loser. Oh, yeah, I will.
Next week, same time, same place, same station. You have a fantastic night.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.